Guys, I'm bringing the party to you.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
You big dummy. Oh, great Odin's raven.
Say hello to my little friend.
I stepped in a ditch last night, man. I almost pulled my balls off, man.
You take drugs, Danny?
Every day. Good.
What's the problem?
Yeah, David.
Giggity, 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 giggity.
Oh, we know what you fear well without.
I'm the doctor.
Gangsters, what's up, guys?
This aggression will not stand, man.
Engage. Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
Leslie Manville, I believe she's a British actress.
Sorry.
You recognize the name?
Sorry. I fucked up.
No,
I forgot to hit run. So we have to... Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Pop Culture Cafe Season 13, Episode 331. I fucked up. I forgot to hit the record button. Scott was just going on beautifully about some show he just watched, and then I fucked it up. I am so sorry.
That was podcasting gold by Scott.
I know.
Never hear the like again.
No. You're going to have to try and hit that same team thing that, starts fresh.
They fuck you at the team. They fuck you at the team. Like, wait, fuck you at the train.
This time it was me that fucked us over. Team's the first time it me. God, son of a fuck, shit, fuck, bastard.
All right, take two.
Take two. Go ahead, son of a
disclaimer.
bitch.
It is a film, actually a TV series based in the UK, 6 episodes.
What's the name of it again?
Disclaimer. It came out last year.
Oh, I thought maybe that. I thought you were doing something else. That's the name of the show. Okay.
It's a disclaimer about it's basically based on when you read a book and they say a disclaimer is any living or characters. It's completely coincidental, and it's not within the story. It's a six-part series, starring Kate Blanchett, Kevin Kline, Sacha Cohen Baron, Leslie Manville, and Lila George. Basically, I wasn't sure what to think of it when I first started watching it, but after, I would say, the second episode, it took a turn, and I didn't look back from then. It's very, very well written. Kevin Kline is a deliciously evil bastard. Look, nailed that again.
Yeah.
And there's 2 big twists in it, and each time you're thinking you want to keep going just from that. It's based on a novel, actually, and one of the small things I didn't like about it, even though they've got beautiful voices, Kevin Kline and Kate Blanchett narrated a few parts of the actual novel. I believe that's where they're from, and so they're reading the novel within this series. And after a while, I was thinking this could probably do without it. It kind of broke it up and kind of took you out of it a bit, like of the self-narration. Sacha Cohen Baron, I have not seen him in anything but comedies. Mm-hmm. Talladega Nights, obviously, his other comedic endeavors. He's a really good serious actor, and I mentioned that in our last episode. Usually the best comedians are usually the best dramatic actors. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, there was a scene where, without giving too much of the film away, he's in an office building, and he's in his office, and a package had come for him, and he opens it up, and he wants to know who sent it, and the secretary is 2 hallways down. Mm-hmm. So the way they shoot the scene is he is running down the hallway, and the cameraman is following down these 2 hallways. And the minute that happened, my little mammalian brain said, they shot the scene from Borat, where he's running to the hotel with the fucking dildo in his hand, naked. They shot it the same way, and I was thinking to myself, I felt such a pang of guilt, like, I am so sorry, Sasha, I fucking tried, but you're Borat, and you're running to the hotel with a dildo in your hand. They shot the scene the exact same way, and I was thinking, fuck, I'm so sorry, man, I tried, but yeah, that was, I'm sitting there in the office, and I started laughing, I'm thinking, fuck, how many other people saw that and said, that's Borat with his dildo chasing his buddy through the fucking hotel? But it's really well done though. It's a really well written. It's a film about perception more than anything. How one person sees something that happens and another person that sees something that happens, and they each see it a different way, and that's where the conflict comes from. It's based on a novel, actually. I can give a bit more on it. Basically, there's an event that happens, and the mother writes a story on this event, and the way she sees it is totally different from the way you see it by the end of it. No mother wants to see her son as a naughty little boy. So it plays from her point of view, and then over the filming, you're thinking to yourself, "Oh, okay, that's what really happened." And that's there's two big twists, and one of them is that moment, and you're thinking, "Wow, this was very good writing." But it's based on a best-selling novel by the same name. Disclaimer. But it's only 6 episodes, and it's totally different than anything I'd seen, and I'm glad I actually took a look at it.
Okay. Anything else there? Do anything else you watch? You got to be something else. A couple other shows.
Oh, fuck yeah. Goliath seasons 2 and 3. I thought this entire series has been very unique in that each season is an homage to, like, season 2 is an homage to Breaking Bad. It's got a South American connection, and it's that very intense. Breaking Bad, certain episodes are so fucking intense, you're thinking, how is he going to get out of this? And they did that in this show too. And Billy Bob Thornton's acting was excellent. His supporting cast, not one bad part cast, but it had that same type of tension that Breaking Bad, and that's why you tuned in every week. Season 3 was an homage to Twin Peaks. Did either of you watch that?
What, Twin Peaks?
I didn't actually know.
No,
Yeah,
never
Twin
watched.
Peaks.
No, never watched
No,
Twin Peaks.
I think everybody knows exactly what Twin Peaks is. But
Yeah.
Well, it was David some of David Lynch's finest work, and it was kind of an homage to that. They actually had Sherilyn Finn, who was in Twin Peaks in this season. They also had Dennis Quaid, and who else is in that third season? Yeah, Dennis Quaid, Graham Greene, Amy Brennehan. A very good, like he. That's the one thing I've noticed about the series. He doesn't cast bad actors. It's kind of like Bryan Cranston does that too, where every part is well casted. We finished season 3 on kind of a cliffhanger. I do love how each season has its own style. It's like you're watching 4 different series, but it's just that fantastic acting all throughout. It starts slow. There's a slow burn usually for the first 3 episodes, kind of to set things up. But by the end of it, you're just thinking, I would have paid to see this in the movie theater. And of course, Billy Bob Thornton is a fucking genius, and he kind of burned out in Hollywood because he kind of burned a few bridges. But this was a very good series. It ran from 2015 to 2021, so it kind of went through that Me Too movement time period. And the difference between the first season, and I'm not sure if I even reviewed it on here, where you've got, this was in 2015, where you've got the ladies in the tight skirts and the tight blouses and the sex scenes and that, to the end, there's a remarkable difference in how all that is handled. Like, it's amazing. When you're watching the first season, I think Michael Bay was an executive producer. It's kind of like, in the first season, they had a guy who was sexually harassing somebody, and the folks who were doing it had that same mentality, the way they dressed women and the way they treated women and so forth. It was interesting. It was kind of like a self gotcha to them. But it's amazing the way this show changes over the run of the series. But we haven't watched season 4. We're starting it right now. But if you're looking for something original and a distinct style and tone for each season, absolutely check it out.
Okay. All right.
I've always kind of fancied that because I noticed it a little while ago. And I thought, Billy Bob Thornton. Watched the trailer for it. I thought, this is going to be good, but never actually sat down to watch it.
Yeah. It's well done. It's well done.
That's good. Paul, wait.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
I have a really interesting one for you this week. Interior Chinatown.
Oh,
I've been watching it on Disney Plus.
Yeah, you
Have
sent
either
me
of you
that.
seen it? Or?
No, I haven't
Yeah.
really watched it. But I didn't know exactly what it was until I looked it up, and then now I remember. He says Netflix, right?
I'm
what is
watching
it?
it on Disney Plus.
Disney
but
Plus.
I don't know where you would find it.
No,
in
if it's
the
just
North
Disney
American
Plus,
region.
No, it'd be Disney Plus.
Right.
Here.
Okay. Yeah, Disney Plus. Yeah. This is a really interesting show. This is kind of reminds me a little bit of One Cut of the Dead that we spoke about on the last episode, in that the idea behind it is the most interesting thing about the show. Sounds kind of weird. It's not that the show's bad, but it's just the idea behind it that it's fascinating. I'm just really interested in it. So it's going to be really difficult to do it justice, but basically the show is about background characters in a TV show. So specifically a show like Law and Order, because you get to see like an opening sequence, you get to see some credits and hear some theme music and stuff, and the show is essentially Law and Order in all but name and having the same actors. And one guy, Chinese guy, he's played by Jimmy O Yang. He's done a couple of Netflix specials. He was in Silicon Valley. He's probably been in one or two other things.
He's a
as
comedian, isn't he?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
So
I gotta go for a minute. I'll be back.
All right.
Okay. So essentially, he works in a Chinese restaurant, and he is a background character in a TV show. Nobody in this TV show, the background characters, in fact, none of the characters know that they're in a TV show, but they are in a TV show. And we know it's a TV show. And what's really strange is that wherever you are, whether it's an interior, whether you're on a set somewhere, whether you're out in the real world, when the main characters of the TV show appear, all the lighting changes, everything gets busier with background actors and that sort of thing. And when they walk off screen, all the lighting changes again. It just goes back to normal lighting. They're not getting sort of like lighting from all over the place. And it is clearly a TV show, but nobody reacts to it being a TV show. And it's like there's certain points in a couple of episodes where Jimmy O Yang, his character is called Willis Wu. So Willis is trying to find out what happened to his brother. It turns out it's kind of a plot from a different TV show that was actually cancelled. But it shared some like the same couple of characters. So he goes to the police station to go and speak to somebody, and he can't get in. And the reason he can't get in is because he's not supposed to be there. His character works in a Chinese restaurant in Chinatown. He can't get into the police station because his character doesn't go into the police station. He's a background actor in a Chinese restaurant. But it's almost like he kind of takes on a life of his own because he's so determined. Because effectively, it's as if you're watching a TV show, and every time you look in the background of all these different characters, clearly just extras who are just sort of like just standing around or pretending to talk or something. If you imagine those background characters actually have families, friends, jobs, bills to pay, that sort of thing. If you just imagine for a moment that they're actually real people, he's one of those. So he develops this. Well, I need to find out what happened to my brother. So he manages to engineer a way to get into the police station just by getting to know some of the regular background characters in the police station. And eventually he gets into the police station, manages to start doing something in the police station which becomes part of the weekly routine for the show. So he can then come in and out of the police station, and he eventually ends up being able to interact with the characters on the show where previously they never even saw him, because he wasn't supposed to be there. So they just walk right by him and they'd just be talking to each other. And he'd be like, hello, like trying to talk to them. And they was completely blanking it. And initially you think, well, they've just been really rude. But they literally can't see him. They literally can't hear him because they're not supposed to. And eventually he ends up being sort of like part of the show. and then there's a really weird special effect where there's sort of like some glitching and some like a bit of static, and one of the other main characters starts to notice, and he starts saying, "This isn't right. Something's different. Something's not right." And it goes from a Law and Order show to Jimmy O Yang actually being part of the cast. And because the plot isn't just crime of the week like on Law and Order, it's actually a bit deeper now, because they're opening up a cold case about his brother's disappearance, and his brother ended up having a relationship with one of the other detectives. It goes from Law and Order to True Detective. And the credits, the opening credits are different, the music's different, the way that it's filmed is different. It's really strange. It's really hard to sort of like really kind of describe exactly what's going on. But the most fascinating thing about it is the subtleties. Is just sort of like, it's really hard to keep in mind. Like, he's just a background character in a fictional TV show, but he believes all this is real. And they just keep chucking in sort of like, this is still a TV show. This is clearly still a TV show. It's like, well, how is this happening? How is this happening? And it's very strange, but I can definitely recommend it because it's a really interesting show. If I'm being honest, it isn't like a Daredevil or something like that where we come in every week and say, holy shit, did you see that scene there? Did you see when someone did that? Or did you see the bit where the guy gets punched in the face? None of that happens. It's just really interesting because the premise of the show and the way that the story is progressing and the way that it's developing are just really interesting, and I look forward to every episode because it's just like, how is it going to develop now? How are the characters going to develop? What's going to change? What's going to happen? So I really don't give that much of a shit about the plot. It's just I'm just interested to see how this thing develops and what it all means and how it ends up and what happens to the characters. So it's Interior Chinatown. It's definitely worth a go.
Well, yeah, when I saw it on just the regular, I just like, okay, this is another cop show on Chinatown. So I ignored it totally. But the way you talk about it now, I'm really interested in seeing what's going on.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's the marketing.
I gave it a go.
That's the marketing they should have did. Because the other marketing, it just didn't seem like it was anything other than just a regular TV show. So
no, it didn't look anything special. No, I just gave it a go, and I thought, oh, this is interesting. And I would say, you get rewarded for patience. If, like I say, you don't get exciting things happen. You don't get sort of like, oh, that was funny. Oh, that was exciting. Oh, that was a good fight scene. You don't get any of that. You just bear with it just because it's just interesting.
So you wait for the next subtlety to sort of change the direction a little bit, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's it's really, really interesting. You can see the ever so slight changes. You can see sort of like cracks in the armor. It's sort of like, it's working. Yeah, it's really is strange. And every now and again, someone will say, that's not right. Something's changed. It's like when they went from Law and Order to True Detective. They were in an interview room and they're all talking to each other, and then there was the glitch on screen, and then it changed. The decoration changed and the costumes changed, and nobody mentioned it. Nobody said anything about it at all.
Sounds like a Twilight Zone episode.
It's very much so. It's very much like that. Yeah,
but it's a whole series.
They're actually in a TV show, but it's really.
No,
strange.
I will check it out now. I will check it out.
Yeah, give it a go. I'm up to episode 5, I think, at the moment. 5 or 6. No, sorry. I'm actually up to about 7 or 8. So I've only got another 3 or 4 to go. 10 episodes altogether. I think there's going to be a season 2. Now, it's based on a book. So I'm quite curious to read the book. And I don't know whether, without having read the book, I don't know whether series 1 is going to end where the book ends, or whether there's more to the book and they can tell another season's worth of stories. We shall wait and see.
All right. Anything else? What?
I'm so hard right now. It's not funny. You should see this fucking thing. It's just
That's awesome.
It's so fucking big. It's so fucking big. Susan said, "Is that gonna fit on the wall?" And I said, "It'll fit on the fucking wall if we take the ceiling out. That's just the way we'll do it." So anyway, it's a big fucking TV. Woo-wee. Anyway, where were we?
Well, you're gonna have to go back and listen to this description of a show, Interior Chinatown,
Okay.
Or China.
Yeah, Interior Chinatown.
Interior Chinatown.
Yeah, I won't go through the whole thing again. You can talk to John afterwards. But really interesting show within a show type.
Paul did a better job of piquing my interest in it than the advertising for it. The advertising was like, okay, just a regular cop show sort of thing or whatever.
Yeah.
So what else you got there, Paul? Another one you've got, or?
Yeah, you've seen Gangs of London, haven't you?
No, I haven't watched any of those.
Oh, have you not?
No.
That's the first season. I haven't seen the second season yet, but third, I should say.
Right. Okay. Well, I've just started watching season 3. It's very good, as you would imagine. I'm not going to say much about Gangs of London season 3 because John hasn't watched any. You've only watched season 1. All I'll say is that it's a good show. It really is a good show. Obviously about criminal gangs. It's not just London. This kind of international. You got some Albanians, you got some Indians, and so on. But yeah, I won't say any more about it other than it's good. Part of the reason I'm bringing it up is because I think it's on BBC, so it's available on iPlayer. There's another sort of UK gang show, like a gang family. It's called This City Is Ours. Now, we've just finished watching season 1, and that was really good as well. That's essentially, it's set in Liverpool, so you guys might have some trouble understanding the accents, but it's very good. It's basically Sean Bean's in it. So you already know that he's going to die at some point.
I was just going to ask that.
Yeah, he does. He does. Yeah. So basically, you've got Sean Bean, who's the head of this criminal gang, this criminal family. His second in command isn't part of the family, but they're like brothers. They've been working together for years and years and years, and they built up this empire together. And then there's a little bit of backstabbing. There's a little bit of sort of, oh shit, Sean Bean's dead, so what we're going to do now. There's a little bit of power grabbing, but essentially it's just very good. It's a very good show. It's one of those where at the end of a couple of the episodes something happens just suddenly, and then you're sort of like, holy shit, what's going to happen next? I need to watch the next episode. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So basically Gangs of London series 3 is available, and that is still pretty good. This City Is Ours is kind of a similar thing in that it's a gangster family in the UK that are sort of like, trying to keep hold of the power, trying to like grab a little bit more, trying to, stab each other in the back a little bit. Similar sort of thing, but they're both good shows, so take your pick. You could watch one or the other or both and have a good time. But they're quite similar, really, in that respect. I've got a couple more, but I can save those for next time if you like.
Well, what we'll do is I'll hit a couple, and then we'll go to the news. And if we got time left, just a free for all, that's what we'll do. Because you guys got some news and stuff. I'm going to bring up Black Mirror. I've only watched the episode I've watched is the USS Callister Into Infinity. It's the second part of the one that was on just the USS Callister. I don't know if you guys have watched either of those.
I watched the original USS McAllister episode. Yeah. I've not watched any of the later season of Black Mirror yet, but I love Black Mirror. I think it's excellent. Yeah. Some of them are better than others.
Yeah.
But the writing is very good.
Yeah.
And they're getting some really good actors in there as well.
So I was only interested in this one episode. I'll go back maybe watch the other ones, but it's just a continuation of the one where the young woman is basically cloned and then put on into this ship, and the programmer who created the program is the captain, but he's a sadistic fuck,
Yep.
And so this takes place after he's been eradicated away from the system, and they're now living. The other people there, they're actually just clones or real people living in this game, and their experience is they're basically trying to survive. Once they're erased from the game or killed, they're dead. They're not coming back, unlike other games and other characters where you can reboot and come back. So their job is to run around robbing other gamers for their credits so they can use it to keep moving, to buy fuel, to buy food, to stay in existence.
Wow. Right.
And then so they basically they are robbing, and they have no gamer tag. So other gamers are complaining about these people coming and robbing them. The girl who was that was fantasized or that was cloned. She is the actress that played in the Penguin's sister, right? Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, I can't remember her name, but the real one, in the real world, starts to find out about who they are because they're trying to track these people because they're not paying. That's the guy, the head of the company. You're not paying. What the fuck's going on? And so they track her down, and then through a series, she sees herself in the game, and then comes to realize that she's been cloned. She's in the game, and the guy, he wants them he wants them killed. He wants them dead. She realizes that these are real people. These are not game. And his concern is getting rid of them. So I get rid of them, then we get back to making tons of money. They show the background of how he got introduced into the guy who created the game. And the system that they have, it's kind of like a 3D printer. You take a DNA, you put it in there, it clones you. Well, that got canceled, got rid of because it became illegal. It knew it was a threat. But because this guy had to create so many different worlds for it to just keep expanding, he didn't have time to do it on his own. So what he did is they cloned him. And he is now in the game. So the main brain of the system is actually a clone of him basically in his garage. Right. And he's in his garage, but he has time passes differently for him, so he's able to keep creating different worlds and allowing the game to expand. They find out where she is. They go in. They get in trying to escape. At the end, well, at one point, sorry, the woman is hit by a car and basically brain dead. So the one that's in the computer, who is a real person, now can't really get back because her company's brain dead. But they figure a way how to get it. And for her to get back. And in the ending is it's almost set up for a third one. They could do another one. The middle get a trilogy that ended.
Okay.
It was really good. I really enjoyed it. You could see the development when the actresses who are playing herself in two different periods of her time in a way, how she changed from this one person to this person, and how the person that she became is almost embarrassed by the real herself in the real world.
Yeah.
The guy who's the head of the company, there's development there from the guy the guy who's running the company who's just doesn't give a shit about anybody other than making money, to a guy who's still sort of a little bit of a prick, but he's developed, so some of that has gone away. And it's interesting to see him watching himself in real time in the real world, basically getting fucked over and getting arrested by the cops. So I'm glad I went and watched it. It's an hour and a half, almost like a real
I believe so.
Yeah. So I recommend going and see it, especially if you enjoyed the first one.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, really enjoyed the first one. It's one of the better Black Mirror episodes.
Yeah,
I think universally people think that's one of the better ones.
Yeah. So I think it's what it's got. And then the other, I'll bring up this other one and we'll move on. I'm going to pick this one instead of I had watched Mobland, but I'm going to pick the other one here. It's called The Studio with Seth Rogen. Where he takes over the company of a studio production company, and how he wants to make movies or films, and then Bryan Cranston is actually the head of the company. He's the owner, and all he cares about is making IP movies where they can make a shitload of money. He doesn't care about artistic or anything like that. He says, I want money. And so his big idea, he buys the IP for Kool-Aid. And so he wants to make a Kool-Aid movie. And the lady that is Catherine O'Hara. She was the head of the studio. She got fired. He brings in, and he wants to make movies, but he's been in charge of trying to make a Kool-Aid movie. And he wants to get, basically he brings in Martin Scorsese in to try and do this Kool-Aid movie, but he switches it around to make it sound like a real. There's a mix of Jonestown, where what's it called? You drink the Kool-Aid. That phrase came from.
Yeah.
And so he wants to mix the Kool-Aid character in with the Jonestown, so they can make a film. And basically, it gets around to he basically ends up buying the script, but he gets so far in the corner he buys the script, but buries it. So Martin Scorsese can never make the film that he wants to make, and he does it because he's scared of his job. So
is it kind of like Extras in that vein? The Extras Ricky Gervais show where real life Hollywood folks will come in and they'll put them in kind of preposterous premises.
Yeah, in a way, but there's the real actors of the. So Charlize Theron's in it, very first, but it's actually her. Martin Scorsese. Fuck, I can't get his word out. Is actually him.
Lottie.
Yeah, and but it's showing the background, all the bullshit that goes in and trying to make a movie. Yeah. And all the bending over and ball sucking and everything you need to do to keep your job, to do the movie you want. Mm-hmm. The guy there's one phrase in it, and I totally agreed with the guy. He says, "Make one for them, and then you can make one for you," which I've heard before, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
But for some reason, Seth Rogen won't do it. He won't make the crap movie because he doesn't want the Kool-Aid movie to be the first movie he has his name on.
Right.
But he won't do it. And then it's him struggling, trying to get a movie made, a film made. Yeah. So, I mean, I agree with the guy, even though it's your first name is winning. But if you make a Kool-Aid movie and it makes a fuckload of money, they're going to say, okay, we'll give you a chance on this low-budget one, right? But I enjoyed it. I'm going to watch the rest of them when they come out. And the other one, just quickly, is Mobland. It has Tom Hardy in it, Pierce Bronson, and the actor's name. But anyways, I watched because it was Tom Hardy. I just love watching that guy act. So, but all right. So let's go on to news and stuff, and then whatever we got left, we'll just fly all over the place.
Actually, briefly, when you were kind of relating to where you said sometimes you make movies to get movies you made and want done.
Yeah.
One of the biggest examples of that, I read it about in a book actually based on him. Bill Murray only did Ghostbusters so that I'm not sure who financed that. They would do a movie whose name escapes me that I don't think it was any kind of success at all. Mm-hmm. But the only reason we have Ghostbusters is because Bill Murray wanted to do another film, and the studio agreed to finance that if he did Ghostbusters.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Well, I've heard the same thing. George Clooney.
Yeah.
Rumors is he does the same thing. I'll make a movie for you, Well, 2 movies for you. I make 1 for me. So.
Yeah. Happens all the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
The nudes.
The nudes? Twisted Metal's coming back 2nd season. I finally saw there's a preview on YouTube. I don't know. Was it you that told me about it, Paul? The 1st season?
I've watched it. I watched the 1st season. It was surprisingly good.
Yes.
Very entertaining.
So season 2 is coming. And there's just a small little teaser online. It's humorous. So I watched that trailer. I'm looking forward to watching that again.
What's the release date? Do we know?
July something, I think.
This year?
Yeah, this year.
Oh, excellent. That's good.
And just quick, the thing is I got Disney. They have their big thing going on in Japan right now. 20 years of Disney. Or Star Wars. 20 years of Star Wars. And we mentioned in the other show about Starfighter. They're apparently going to do a Darth Maul animated series.
Yes. Yeah, heard about that.
So, so I'm looking forward to those because I've enjoyed all the animated series that they've put out from Star Wars. All of them are good. I enjoyed them all. Clone Wars, Rebels. No, there was one I didn't watch. I just didn't.
I think there was one that was for a slightly younger audience, which I didn't watch. Is that the one you're thinking of?
I'm thinking of.
I remember what it was called.
Yeah. What was the fucking the one with the stormtroopers?
It's Bad Batch.
Bad Batch. I loved Bad Batch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully it will have the same sort of creativity and good storytelling as we've done with the other ones. So.
Yeah.
All right.
I have had an opportunity to watch by great cinematographer Leg of the Boot, a version of the pretty good version of the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer.
Really?
All 2 minutes and 32 seconds of it, which has not been released, but someone took a little camera into their little thingamabobber and I've watched the whole thing.
So they showed some of the stuff at the Star Wars celebration.
Yes, 2 minute. Yeah,
and he recorded. You sneaky bastards!
Yeah,
Leg of the Boot, I believe his name.
Leg of the Boot.
And so the trailer looks promising. I was pleasantly surprised, but I said to myself when they were announcing they were doing a Mandalorian and Grogu movie, I was thinking to myself, you guys, you've been doing this for 4 years now. Some of it hasn't been very well received, and now you're going to give me a movie. And they did the right thing. They went to the one place that they haven't gone to yet. They've been to Boba Fett. They've been to Jabba the Hutt. And I thought there's nothing really they could do. But they could. They put snowwalkers in snow. And it's amazing because you've seen snowwalkers in the sand, but to see snowwalkers back in their natural habitat, all of a sudden it gave you that 11-year-old boy vibes again. So they actually did that right. And because the way they played the scene out, there is a fight taking place. And the Mandalorian is going through these people. And you don't realize until at the end where the fight is taking place. It's taking place on a snowwalker, which I thought was very, very cool. And that I said to myself, that's the kind of creativity you're going to need to bring to this series. And the trailer sold it for me. I will be going to see this in the theater.
It's in. That's what I was going to ask. If it's in the theater, I'm kind of.
Yeah, it's in the theater. I don't know who. Carl Weathers is gone. Gina Carano's gone. They could bring Bill Burr back. I haven't watched the last season of The Mandalorian. I don't know who is left from the original cast to actually have in this movie to flesh out the rest of the movie. I don't know who's left. So
they could bring Katie Sackhoff, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yes, you could bring Katie Sackhoff. You could bring in that side. But it's one of those things. Will folks pay for a lot of what they've seen for free? There's a lot of bad taste. I mean, that Boba Fett series, be careful what you ask for, is what I heard from a lot of people.
Yeah.
And But when I saw this, it looked like a big budget movie. It looked very well done. I mean, there's a couple of scenes that you're like, okay, if you do this, you'll be on the right track. So, but that initial scene, I was like, it's about 45 seconds, and I'm thinking that was a nice play, you fuckers. So that was a nice little run, and the people in the audience were like, it was those same squeals from The Force Awakens in 2015. Just stay on that route. Don't go where you went from like 2015 to 2023 or whatever. So it was promising. It looked very promising, which I'm glad. I want good movies. I want good Star Wars movies. So
the only problem when they show those screenings at the shows, I mean, there's already, everybody's walking in with they're either wet or got a hard on because they're Disney and they're Star Wars, so they're going to get all excited about anything. Yeah. So you need people that are not really your target audience to give you an idea if this is any good or not. So that's my only problem.
The way it was shot was very well done. Yeah. Very well done. I was thinking, okay, this was good. You guys did good. The trailer looks good. Let's more of this, please.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think at this point they're only making Star Wars movies and TV shows for Star Wars fans. I think at this point, if you're not already into Star Wars, you're never going to be.
Yeah.
So I don't think they don't need to appeal to the mass audience. They just need to deliver to the fans.
Yeah.
As long as they do something like Force Awakens as a prime example, like we all saw the trailer for that, and it was grown man tears, basically, because it was giving you everything that we wanted to see back on screen. It gave us TIE Fighters and Millennium Falcon. It gave us lightsabers. It's like, fuck yeah. It's Han Solo and Chewbacca back. Yes, please. Yeah, I want all of that. Here's my money. And Force Awakens is actually not bad. I mean, aside from the way that they did over Han Solo, which was, what the fuck were they thinking? But it was probably the only way they could get him back at all, to be quite honest. So the hands were probably tied with that to a degree, to be fair. But everything beyond that point was an absolute shit show. So as long as they learn from that and just say, right, let's show the fans what they want. Let's just give them something that they will all be able to get on board with, that they'll all enjoy, and that none of them, well, I say none of them will hate. Someone's always going to hate something. But yeah, that's all they need to do. Just don't fuck it up. All this about Snowwalkers and that sort of thing sounds great. Mandalorians and Snowwalkers and fucking, it sounds great. I'll go and watch that. Definitely. Just don't fuck it up. Just don't do something stupid. Just sort of completely out of context, out of character for a Star Wars project. Just give us fucking Star Wars, and that's it. That's all you need to do. Just don't fuck it up.
They'll fuck it up.
Yeah, they will. Definitely.
There was a lot of psychology put in this trailer. I don't want to give any more away, but even locations played a part of the psychology. Yeah. It was well done trailer. They were like they thought it through, where you were thinking multiple things during the trailer until the crescendoed into like, I want to go see that in the theater. So
they've got you going to the cinema to watch it. So
I mean, and
they've done something right.
It felt like a big budget. It felt like a good film. Watch it. I'm sure the trailer will be released sooner or later. You'll see what I'm talking about. Yeah.
All right. Anything else, gents?
Oh, Anthony Mackie, motherfucker! What is wrong with you? He's a new Tom. He's a new Tom Holland, Mark Ruffalo. Remember Mark Ruffalo in that commercial? He said, "Yeah, and everyone's dead by the end of and the fucking." Anthony Mackie in that interview was like, "What the fuck did you just do? Shut up!" And was I supposed to say that? Remember that video?
Well, sort of.
I remember that.
Yeah,
I do. So, I remember it. Yeah.
Okay. So Anthony Mackie is talking about the next and Infinity War when it came out in 2019. Nobody knew what was going to happen. Nobody knew the cliffhanger that was coming, and that was part of the appeal. That you were like, what the fuck just happened? And people were like openly weeping in the theaters, and it really pushed the second part. Anthony Mackie, during an interview, says, it's going to end on a cliffhanger. No one is safe. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what are you doing? People would not have known they were going to go to the well the second time.
Yeah.
It would have been a surprise. Now you're waiting for it
Yeah.
at the end of the first movie. I know it's going to be a cliffhanger and people are going to die because no one's safe. And I'm thinking, why would you do that? Why would you? It's like a trailer. Trailers show too much now. But I read the interview and the quotes, and I'm thinking, God, can they not keep them down on the firm just for a little longer? From Snow White to Mackie, like just tie them to a fucking gurney for a couple of weeks before the fucking thing opens. It was just, I don't know why they do it. I don't know why they do it. They seem to be the only company that does that.
Yeah. You'd be better off not saying anything at all. I don't know what he was thinking.
Yeah.
Well, it's just he said something the other day. It was like it's gonna make you feel like you did about old Marvel. I think that was I'm paraphrasing a bit. But basically, he said what everyone's been thinking. The last 6 years have been kind of sucked. You know, I mean, there's been some rough stuff with it, and he basically admitted to it. But I guess this was sort of the same interview. But when I read that quote, I was thinking, God damn it, just stop shooting yourself in the foot. Just lift the gun barrel to the sky for a while. Anyway, that was just one of those things that, So that's that.
Fuck. Yeah, I know. What the hell? What's going on today?
I have a couple of more if you guys are ready.
No, you go right ahead. We usually count on you for all the news shit. You find stuff interesting.
They are doing an X-Files reboot.
That was
works.
I heard about
Ryan
that.
Coogler.
Yeah. Yes.
Ryan Coogler at the helm.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're redoing everything. I'm not sure why they're doing it. I mean, when you talked about that Apple Plus thing, I was thinking that they're going to do that. They're just, I don't know. It's an iconic show. They're iconic characters. They're iconic actors. So yeah, let's put a spin on it. I don't want to get too far in the weeds here, but I kind of know where they're going to be going with this, and it is what it is. I think fans will give it a try to a beginning. Some of the hardcore folks who really, the ones that felt that they didn't get a decent X-File movies and or specials after the original series are probably going to say, oh, fuck this. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. There's not going to be any lone gunmen. We didn't get, the movies were kind of shitty. I saw a few of them. I remember a friend of mine, Kendra, she was a huge X-Files fan. After the first movie, she was like, what in the fuck are they doing? And I think there was one or two more afterwards. So those folks are going to say, blah, I'm not doing this. So they're kind of, when they do these type of projects now, they're kind of kneecapped right out of the gate because a certain percentage of the audience is just not going to show up. And the folks that they want to show up don't know the IP at all because they're like 20 years younger than when it actually hit the screen. So right out of the gate, they're hemorrhaging fans on each side. It usually ends up as a blah. It runs about two seasons and then they cancel it.
Yeah.
So
now that's another just reboot Hollywood. That's what it should be called now. Just reboot Hollywood. Yeah.
But Woody and Buzz are being reunited.
Who?
Woody and Buzz are being reunited for Toy Story 5.
I thought it was done.
Tim Allen has confirmed they're doing a Toy Story 5, and Woody and Buzz will be reunited. Tom Hanks and Tim Allen, who they tried to put a bullet in his little wooden head and get rid of him, and they couldn't. They literally tried to kill him. They said, no, we don't want Tim Allen in this. He's a Republican. And they just said he's not going to do this anymore. And they recast him, and then they realized they love Woody.
Yeah.
And now they're going to Buzz Lightyear with Tom Hanks, and they're going to reunite them in the next story. I don't know anything about it. I've only seen 3 of the movies. Toy Story 5. I suspect the nostalgia will make it a hit.
Yeah.
But
I love the Toy Story films. Yeah, I love the original Toy Story films, but 3 finished so perfectly. I didn't even watch the 4th. I thought I don't need to go and watch the 4th because, as far as I'm concerned, it's already done. It finished. It was a perfect finish. Yeah. I'm happy. Yeah. So I'm definitely not going to be watching the 5th. So I just sometimes you just got to let things go. It's so you think that you want more of something, but sometimes you're better off just sticking with the good. When it was good. Let's just remember when it was good, rather than just keep wanting to make more.
Well, you know what? If you watch that that show I talked about, the studio, it gives you an idea how those fuckers think.
It's just money. Yeah, it's just money.
They don't give a fuck.
Oh, speaking of reboots, I watched the trailer for the new Tron movie fairly recently.
Oh, I haven't watched that. No, I have to watch that.
I only found out in the last couple of weeks there was going to be another Tron movie. Now, I have to say, though, it does look quite interesting.
Yeah.
It does look quite interesting because you got people from the computer coming out into the real world rather than the real world going into the computer, which I suppose with old AI and virtual reality and that sort of thing, it's sort of, okay, you know, we're progressing with the times. So,
Westworld.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in it. I became less interested when I realised that Jared Leto was in it. But
that poor bastard. Just Morbius straight to death.
I know. But it looks interesting. I'm curious. I'm curious enough to watch it. I thought, I want to know. I want to know why they're in the real world, and I want to know what happens. So, I'm keeping an eye on it cautiously, but I'm keeping an eye on it. So
I like the trailer. The trailer was very well done.
I haven't seen it. I'll have to go check it out.
Check it out. It's interesting. It's pretty. It looks pretty good.
You know, a lot of times I enjoy the trailers more than the movie.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
trailers are better entertainment than the movie. So.
Well, they do show you the best bits. Yeah. It's like, speaking of which, I watched, I think probably the latest trailer for the last Mission Impossible film as well, Final Reckoning.
Yeah, watched it.
And I don't know whether it's going to be in the movie or not, but I liked how they cut in clips from the previous movies.
Yeah.
And tied it together with what was going on in the latest movie.
No, that's just the trailer.
It was a good trailer. It's a good trailer because I do like those Mission Impossible films, and the way that they cut that trailer together and what they were showing, it really sort of like gets you in the nostalgia ribs. It's like, I'm really looking forward to this. I
really enjoyed when Hallie Atwell was running along the beach in the bikini. I really enjoyed it. I thought she brought a lot to the.
Is that?
No, that was just me. That was just me. Sorry.
No, wait. Hang on. Was that in the other one? That's out in Netflix. Don't get me all excited because I haven't watched it. I'm thinking, well, I got a reason to watch it now.
How many of our fans just left this podcast and went straight to YouTube?
Fuck me. Back in a minute.
It was like, but it looked good. It's one of those things. The villains appears to be AI, which I don't know how that's going to play out.
Well, Tom Cruise isn't going to be able to beat him up, is he?
Yeah.
You can't beat up AI, so where's the fun in that?
Or
run away with
him.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does look like they strap him into a big VR headset at some point. So
some of those stunts,
AI. Who knows?
Some of those stunts look amazing. Like he is,
you
know, if he ever dies doing one of these stunts, and this is the last movie, so he probably won't. The outpouring of respect and love he's going to get from Hollywood, because he did back in 2021. He single-handedly with Top Gun saved that industry, and there's even footage of Steven Spielberg saying he saved our fucking ass.
Yeah,
you know, he's going to be a beloved character. Which is a bit ironic because there's been a lot of his contemporaries that have, you know, taken a dirt nap. You've got Gibson that had his problem with the Jews, and you know, you've got Russell Crowe. As he said, they stop calling when I get fat. So, but he's really stuck in there, and I'm curious what he's going to do next because this Mission Impossible franchise has kind of taken up his last couple of years, but he's still got a lot of good roles in him, obviously.
Oh yeah. I think he'll probably wind down the action roles. He's going to have to at some point. He's starting to look a bit too old for it. But he's got years ahead of him in the business. But I just hope they hand off the franchise to somebody else. I'd hate to see it just finish because I do like those Mission Impossible films. They are very entertaining. If he can keep up that quality, if he stays on as an executive producer or something like that, maybe. I think they can still keep making these things, but it's probably getting a bit unreasonable for him to be the main guy, the main actor, and I get that.
Well, unfortunately, it's going to take away a lot of the realism because there's not too many actors out there that's going to do the shit he does.
No.
And you can tell in a film. You can tell in a film when it's real. And I mentioned I had seen Gladiator, and I'm not sure whether you listened to that show or not, but I reviewed Gladiator 2, and I put the scene of the siege on the city and the scene in the original Gladiator. And you could definitely tell the difference when they use CGI and when they use the green screen and all that. And I think with Tom Cruise, if someone comes along and they start doing those stunts with the green screen and all the bells and whistles, you'll be able to tell the difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Who else is going to do it these days? I think Ryan Gosling could do it.
I'm
not sure how
one
old
of
he is
the
at the
few.
moment. Yeah,
he's in his 40s. He's in his 40s.
Is he?
Yeah. It's funny. We were talking about Tron. I was thinking to myself, Tron and Blade Runner are two of the best franchises that nobody ever saw in the 80s.
Yeah.
Because it's true. They're cult classics, but at the time they couldn't. Yeah. They're bombed at the box office. So
yeah, no one gave a shit about Blade Runner when it first came out. But it's such a massive cult hit worldwide now.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you knew this, but Pacific Rim is doing a live action series on.
I had the story. Yeah.
On Prime. Yeah, I just have it up here. It's going to be done by the same guy who did Shadow and Bone.
Yeah, that wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad.
That was okay.
Yeah. So I think I've seen it, but just ignored it because it's like, okay, we're going to do a Pacific Rim. It's a prequel. I don't know. You've got that story, Scott. What else is going on with it other than that?
If they do what they did with Monarch, Legacy of whatever, that series that we watched, and they make it more about the humans that are running the machines and that creative process of, what leads up to it, it'll be successful. If they try and do Pacific Rim the way they did, poor Charlie Hunnam, that was his first movie franchise out of the gate after Sons of Anarchy, and I honestly thought he was going to be a big Hollywood star, and it just never happened. Urbis Elba, I think, was in that series also. Yeah. So there's former cast members that they can call on, but I mean, if they make it like kind of tone it down a bit and show the monsters every now and then and make it really humanize it, which I thought Pacific Rim was really missing. They made it a Rocco Sock'em video game, and that's why I don't think it connected. But if they do it in that way, I think it'll be successful. It's a property that hasn't been overexposed. There hasn't been like 25 of them, and it hasn't really been on the radar. So if they can make some corrections at the flaws in the movies, I think it'll be successful. It's a lot like Godzilla, though. It really is. There's the creatures under the sea and that kind of stuff. So they've got to kind of walk a fine line where people say, "Oh, this is a Godzilla ripoff," and don't want anything to do with it, which I think is what happened in the first one.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna wait a few seconds. We got 1 minute before we get hung up on. So we'll just wait, and I'll phone you back, and then we'll end the show pretty quick there, instead of rushing through it to get through here. But I don't know. Like I said earlier, I'm getting really bored of TV. I'm enjoying reading my books more than anything else now.
I had a book report that I didn't get in. I'll do it
next
time.
We'll do it.
Picard.
We'll like I said, we'll wait for it to shut off. This is really good podcasting, eh? Waiting for your feed to shut off so that we can reboot and start all over again.
And it's like having a fucking rotary phone.
Yeah.
we could literally count it down, couldn't we?
Oh, yeah.
29, 28.
Well, see, we're at different times. I got 59:47.
So I'm at 59:40.
Yeah. Oh, see, I must have joined last. That's why I've got an extra 20 seconds.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You're going to get hung up here whenever. Oh, one. So someone else has got more time. That's you, Paul. So we're not hung up just yet. But
I've got 5 seconds to go.
Okay, folks, get ready for fucking bullshit. One. We got one. There's one.
Should be here.
Yeah, there you are. We're back. So this is the new norm. But
so do you splice this all together at the end, or how's
I'm
it
gonna
work?
I'm gonna have to edit it all together.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have
like
to go
the
on
old splicing back in the day when you'd splice those 20-second videos together to get 2 minutes of really good porn.
Yeah.
20 minutes, 20 seconds,
Yeah.
20 seconds, 20 seconds.
It was interesting that it didn't cut you guys off until my time ran out.
Can you imagine you're in a meeting and all of a sudden this shit shows up on your fucking on your laptop or your presentation?
That's the older winner. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's when
that
it was
should be okay.
18 inches long and it covered the whole bottom of the toilet. The end.
So anything else you want to talk about? We a couple seconds here, and then we'll run away.
I've got this. Well, it's a book you'll be reading. It's
Oh yeah.
Patrick Stewart's Making It So. It's about 450 pages. The first 300 pages are his theater day. So if you're going in looking for a bunch of stuff on the X-Men and Star Trek, it's there, but it's not near in there. And a lot of it you've already heard before.
Yeah.
But his theater days were pretty cool. It's you know, him growing up in Murfield, which is his hometown, and then going to the Royal Shakespeare Theatre and all the different varying levels of theater, which I found fascinating because I've heard about theater, but I really didn't know that much about it, especially in England. And Paul, you might know more about this than most people here. You know, have you ever seen any plays at the Royal Shakespeare Theatre?
Not at the Royal Shakespeare Theatre. I've seen Royal Shakespeare Theatre plays on the BBC.
Okay.
But I've not been to the theatre.
Yeah, and it was interesting to see who's he crossed with, like Malcolm McDowell. He first met Malcolm. He was, of course, a villain in Star Trek Generations. He met him while he was coming up through the ranks as a actor in plays. And same with Helen Mirren and Judi Dench, Sir Ian McKellen. They had met years beforehand. I mean, they weren't friends. That bromance started when the X-Men started. But it's really neat to see behind the scenes of what goes into becoming an established actor, and also the kind of cutthroat business that it really is. You know, I mean, it's I mean, they can make or break you in many ways, especially in that old, like back in the day when it was like there weren't a lot of rules and regulations of what went on. If someone didn't like you, you didn't get the part type thing.
Yeah.
It's very cool to. There were a lot of really cool stories. One, for instance, one that I'd never heard before. He's working on Dune, and he met Sting for the first day, and he said he played in a band. He said he played in a police band, in the band Police.
Yeah.
And Patrick Stewart thought he literally played in a police band. He thought he was an off-duty police officer who was playing in a band.
Yeah.
He said that's how bad my pop culture cred was, that I had no idea he was a big star at the time. He talked a bit about his childhood. You know, I mean, we share the outhouse experience. I mean, I don't know if I've mentioned it on here before. You know, he had an outhouse. He used to read. That's where his books were, and you know, he went there, and his dad was kind of a prick, and that's where he learned to get his love of reading in. He read in the outhouse, and they lived in a very poor. Do you know where Murfield is? Do you know, Paul? It's just outside of on Liverpool. It's a small village.
No.
Okay.
I know Liverpool, obviously, but no, not familiar with that town.
But it's a great read, and after a while, you start reading it in Patrick Stewart's voice, which makes it even better. He knows how to tell a story. The one thing that I did find interesting about it was, you could tell he got laid a lot back in the day, but he downplays it. Yeah. And he also downplays his marriage, and you know, he confesses up to the fact that he cheated on both of his wives. But he downplayed a few of the female, you know, his relationships. And one of them, I did some further research on it, and she was quite angry when the book came out, and she realized that he kind of downplayed her. And she said, we were together 5 years. She was a 23-year-old. I think she was a British actress, and he was 63 at the time. So, and he kind of downplayed that portion in his life, and she was like, no, we were together for 5 years. So he did gloss over a lot of the more romantic / family drama that he went through. He brought it up, but you could tell it was a little rougher than the beginning, but you could tell back in the day that he was slinging cock all over the Royal Shakespeare Theater.
I don't know if that'll work, but I might put that down for the title.
You might.
Slinging cock.
Yeah.
It's a very good book.
I will maybe slinging
it's a
rooster.
Great book. It's a great book. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. So you have to get that around to me, so I can read it.
Yep.
So, I don't know if there's anything else really to bring up. I just wanted to end a different note, or not rushing. What do you got? No, go ahead.
Well, we don't really talk about comics anymore. Do you guys read comics anymore?
Fuck, yeah.
Comics. I remember those.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say.
Really, we don't, do we? No.
Yeah, it's like I read a lot more than I used to, but I just don't really bring them up on the show anymore because I feel like I'm bringing my 8-tracks to work.
Yeah. You're right. No, I've been trying to read some more. I haven't read anything new. I've been reading just the regular, like Star Trek has this offshoot called Lore, in which Lore has, I brought this up in one of the shows where he's sort of created a new reality in his image, and he's basically running everything with Data. The Data's just doing it because it's his brother. It's really hard. Sometimes I like Star Trek, but sometimes they just get too out there with their stories. That makes them hard for me to enjoy.
Well, they can play with characters in comic books and even book form. They can play with their characters more than they can on TV.
Oh, yeah.
And I've noticed that they've they had Worf and Data, and there was a character from Voyager, and they're all in the same storyline. So they're able to do that. That's a freedom that they can do it with.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, that's what I enjoy about it. They're bringing different characters. It's almost like a different reality in a way, but this is even different reality with a lot of backgrounds of. It's not. It's when you start talking about how this planet and this shit's kind of, I really can't explain. All I know is just. Sometimes I'll go back to, like, I'm reading a Western. It's just a simple story, good and bad. I don't have to worry about learning how to pronounce names or learning how to figure out just tachyon, doohickey, drive engine, fuck up sort of stuff. I like science fiction stories that are kind of dumb, if I put it that way, but good. Dumb and good.
Well, we won't touch on comics this time. We'll just mention that May the 4th is Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
because
well,
it's because it's all through Diamond. And no one knows what the fuck's going on with Diamond.
Well, Lee has the sets, and I guess there's a ton of them this year.
Oh,
but
really? Okay.
Yeah, Free Comic Book Day is on May the 4th. I think it's the first Saturday in May, which I believe is the 4th.
Yeah.
And other than that, I'll leave them for the next time. But I think I'll bring a couple of comic reviews next time. I've been reading a lot of comics. Like, I've been catching up on everything. And there's certain, when you read everything, you see trends. Mm-hmm. And there's definitely some trends going on in the comic world. For instance, one that I just looked at, Vatican City from Mark Millar. Mm-hmm. It's a 3-issue series, but each book is 40 pages long.
Yeah.
And I think that's a way to cut down on releases, but still get enough material for the trades.
Mm-hmm. And was it $7.99?
No, it was actually $5.99, which is $1 more. But also what they're doing is it's 40 pages, but I think 5 or 6 of those pages is almost a conversation with the artists and Mark Millar, saying, this is where I got the idea for this story. Yeah. This is some rough sketches. But still, 34 pages, it's pretty good. But I think there's Mark Millar's doing that, and Daredevil, there's a Charles Soule series that's out now. It's 3 issues, but it's 40 pages. And I think you're going to see the comic industry go, the fact that Marvel and Image have done this, you're going to see the 5-issue limited series down to 3, except they'll make them 40, 45 pages. Mm-hmm. I think you're coming to a time where you're going to see a writer take 6 months to do like 110 pages, 120 pages, and just release it for like $15, $20. It's coming. I really do believe it's coming.
Well, they say a lot of people wait for trades. I mean, when I've talked about here, I've waited for the series to be either 4 issues or 5 issues done before I read it, so I keep it fresh in my mind.
Exactly.
Well, you know the problems that I've got with keeping on board with new releases. I just don't bother. I did say quite a while ago, probably a few months ago, that I was going to start reading more, but I was going to start reading more trades rather than month by month. And I don't think I actually ever told you, but since that conversation, I've actually read the Authority Omnibus Volumes 1 and 2, which were very good. And I'm halfway through the latest, well, I say latest, the current Wonder Woman storyline as well, by Tom King, Outlaws. So I'm halfway through the first trade paperback, and I've got the second one. I've just not got that far yet. So I'm still reading, but I'm not keeping up to date with current stuff. So I'm still in there. I'm still hanging on to my Geek membership card. They can't take that away from me because I'm meeting the bare minimum requirement.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, I've got the bare minimum for books now. I read a lot of the Red Coat and that line, Ghost Machine. I'm reading a lot of those. Star Treks I still keep up with. Some of them I don't. And some of the Star Wars. But I still go off to the different publishers in DC and Marvel. I kind of very few of those, very few that I even bother with. It's all Image and Dark Horse and a couple other ones.
There's an interesting, I think, what's the term? Schism? Is that what it's called when there's a break? SCHISM?
Sure,
how's that pronounced?
I don't know.
Yeah,
that sounds right.
Schism within Marvel and DC right now. And I can see it because I read a lot of, I probably 40 titles a month, 45 titles a month. And you have the activist class where they're either in that camp or they'll bring in outside writers who are like newspaper reporters, or and they'll write. And then you've got the journeymen, Benjamin Piercy, Jonathan Hickman, Charles Soule. They're proven comic writers, the dependable guys when you get it. And that's kind of what's happening at Marvel right now. All the X titles are being written by the new kids for the movies. And, it's... I didn't buy the Uncanny X-Men this month for the first time in 40-some-odd years.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And there was one I read. I caught up on the... It's not even really a review. It's like I read the first issue and I got the second and third issue. And there's literally a scene in it where the X-Men, based out of Chicago, and they were in a dance studio. And they're setting up to a training session. And I showed this actually to John. I showed this to Tristan this week, and he laughed his ass off. Where they said they were talking about beginning, they weren't talking about strategy, they weren't talking about anything. And someone said, "Shouldn't we start with our pronouns first?" And that was the dialogue. And I was like,
"Really?
Okay."
That was an actual line?
Yeah, that was an actual line of dialogue. And I said, "Okay, guys, just keep shooting yourself in the foot." And they've canceled 4 of those X titles already. But that's the mentality of, I would say, probably 40% of the Marvel writing staff now is they are all in on ideology and they're not changing. I mean, I'm good. It's good. I don't read their books, but I was like, I don't think I've ever seen an X-Men where they're talking about the Danger Room, which, a Danger Room where they're like, shouldn't we go around and do our preferred pronouns first? And I was thinking, wow. Okay, I just put it down. I stopped reading it, and I'll never pick it up again. It's a shame. It's just a weird time in comics from that point of view, but it's just where we're at. So, anyway.
Yeah. Holy fuck. Okay. Now let's end it on that happy note.
Yeah.
So, folks, we're gonna end it there. I got a lot of editing to do. No good son of a bitch shit. Fuck. And thanks for tuning in. Thanks for taking the time. If you're listening to the channel, maybe, I don't know if you call it that, the podcast radio channel, because I'm not starting a whole new fucking I'm not starting a whole new podcast thing. I'm putting it all in one. And if you don't like it, that's fine. Anyways, if you're listening to the other ones, thank you. Thank you for listening to this. We thank you for tuning in. We will be back sometime. I don't know. A lot of times it has to do with, what are you doing? Nothing. Podcast? Okay. That's how the schedule works. So, but, yeah. Okay, folks. Ciao.
Take care.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, my mother thanks you, my father thanks you, my sister thanks you, and I thank you.
That's all, folks.
Thank you. Come again.
Why, you little?